Thomas.
Here.
Commissioner Lindauer.
Here.
Thank you, Reverend Bob. Can you please lead us?
Yes.
Thank you, and I invite everyone as they're able to stand for this invocation. And I would ask on this day after the anniversary of September 11th that we begin with a moment of silence honoring those whose lives were lost and those families and friends who are still grieving that loss. Let us bow. Gracious and Holy One, we come to you, seeking courage and hope for today and tomorrow. Our world continues to be in peril, some of it out of our control, some of it of our own making. Heal these wounds, quiet the words of war, and help us to be those who bring peace to our families and in our communities. Banish the darkness of doubt and fear and allow the light of your love to shine. Bestow your countenance and wisdom on those who are committed to serve the needs of the citizens of this city, and encourage all to live as responsible neighbors, seeking the good for all in our community. Hear this, our prayer, as we speak it in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
With pride, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend Bob. Okay, we're going to go right into new business, and this is our trim process. So this is Resolution 2023. Please call up item to adopt the fiscal year 2023-2024 tentative millage rate. It is now a public hearing. Do you need to provide any background information? Is there anything, we've gone over this several times, let me ask the commission, is there anything else that you would like to ask our Director of Finance about?
Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Lori Irwin, Finance Director. One thing before we go on is that we did add things to the budget from the last workshop on July 27th. And those were things that we had discussed at that workshop, the lobbying service, legal services. And we did give back information regarding our insurances. That usually doesn't happen until later on in the process. And in doing so, on a positive note, actually, the millage rate remains the same at rollback of 4.5880 mils, but the total budget actually decreased $152,500. So everybody got their pencils out. So
All right,
we were
great.
able to do that.
Thank you very much. Okay, anything else?
Also, in front of you, I put down 3 pages. There's one labeled General Fund Revenue Budget, and it has like a total on it of under the 23-24 budget of $19,580,900 and a budget change of $3,700,000. This is to replace your page 14 of page 213 in your agenda packet. Commissioner Lindauer had shown me that I had a few calculations incorrectly, and it was actually stating that there was a $38 million discrepancy change. So you can replace that, yes. You have to love computers. Also in your packet that I gave you is a revised resolution 2023-11. It's now 11R. This would replace your resolution on page 6 of your packet. This resolution, the reason for the revised resolutions is that the other ones did not have the time, date, and place of the second hearing, which need to be there. And then you'll also have a resolution 2023-12R. It is revised, which is to replace your page 8 in your agenda.
Okay, anything else?
That is all I have.
Okay, do you have any questions for our Director of Finance? Okay, if not, then we will now open the public hearing on fiscal year 2023-2024 millage rates. This hearing is to establish the tentative millage rate of 4.5880 mils, which is the rollback rate, tax rate of 4.5880 mils, and this resolution also establishes the date of the final public hearing as September 27th, 2023 at 6 p.m. at City Commission Chambers, 3000 Bellmead Drive, Daytona Beach Shores, Florida 32118. Attorney Waters, can you please read the entirety of the tentative millage levy resolution number 2023 dash?
It might be a
Sorry,
misprint, Mayor. I believe it should be the 26th, not the 27th. Our meeting is on the 26th.
26th?
Yes, Tuesday, the 26th, our regularly scheduled meeting.
Do I need to reread that, or, please note that I will repeat that one more time. It is the public hearing on September 26th, 2023 at 6 p.m., same location.
Just as for the record, when the attorney reads the resolution in full, just please make sure you say the 26th.
Okay.
Thank you, and if you would go ahead and read that for us, please?
Okay, are we, and just for clarity, is this 2023-11?
R.
R.
Yes.
R.
11RR.
You just need to say the 26th there.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, this is Resolution 2023-11R, resolution of the City of Daytona Beach Shores of Volusia County, Florida, adopting the tentative levying of ad valorem taxes for the City of Daytona Beach Shores, establishing the date, time, and place for the second public hearing on the millage rates to be September the 26th, 2023, for fiscal year 2023-2024, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you read it in its entirety?
No.
Would you like me to read the entire?
Yes, please.
The entire resolution?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Whereas the City of Daytona Beach Shores of Volusia County, Florida, on September the 12th, adopted fiscal year 2023-2024 tentative millage rates following a public hearing as required by Florida Statute 200.065. And whereas the City of Daytona Beach Shores of Volusia County, Florida, held a public hearing as required by Florida Statute 200.065, and whereas the gross taxable value for operating purposes not exempt from taxation within Volusia County has been certified by the county property appraiser to the City of Daytona Beach Shores as $2 billion with a B, $2,017,145,964. Now therefore be it resolved by the City of Daytona Beach Shores of Volusia County that, number one, the fiscal year 2023-2024 operating millage rate is 4.5880 mils, which is the rolled back rate of 4.5880 mils. The voted debt service millage is 0.00 mils. The date and time of the final hearing will be held on September the 6th, 2023, in the Commission chambers. I said 26, correct?
You said 6.
You said 6,
Okay.
you got down to 20.
26th.
Will be held on September the 26th, 2023, in the Commission chambers at 6 p.m. located at 3000 Bellmead Drive, Daytona Beach Shores, Florida, 32118. This resolution will take effect immediately upon its adopted, and it will be duly adopted at a public hearing on this 12th day of September 2023.
Thank you very much, Attorney. So right now, I'm going to open this up to public comment. We'll allow any residents, members in the audience to speak and to ask any questions prior to the adoption of this tentative millage rate. Do I have anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this? Okay, seeing none, then I will be closing the public comment. I will entertain a motion to adopt resolution number 2023-11R.
I move we approve as amended
I'll second it.
to the 26th.
Okay, is there any discussion on this motion before we vote on it? Any questions or any discussion?
Madam Mayor, may I make a suggestion to make the motion to approve the resolution as amended, and there was another change too, correct?
So Commissioner Bryan
as
said
revised.
amended, but do you want the two amendments called out?
Sure, well, as revised and amended. I would just say, make a motion to approve the resolution as revised and amended. That covers
All
everything.
right, Commissioner, can you redo that?
11R is the revision,
Yes,
and then 11R was amended from the 27th to the 26th.
to the 26th, but I think there was also another amendment to one of the.
Will actually be on the next resolution.
Okay, all right, so I'm twisting things up. I apologize, but
So we want to make sure we're in
Troublemaker,
compliance.
troublemaker.
So when Commissioner Bryan says the amended resolution, are we all right?
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Well, 11R.
11R.
As
Right,
amended.
okay. All right, as amended, okay.
Yeah.
And we now have a motion, we have a second. We did not have any discussion, so Sherry, can you take a vote, please?
Commissioner Bryan?
Yes.
Commissioner Lindauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Conrose?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Pledis?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, thank you. So the tentative operating millage rate is now set at 4.5880 mils, which is the rollback millage rate of 4.580 mils, and the date of the final public hearing is set for September 26th, 2023, at 6 p.m. at City Council Chambers, 3000 Bellmead Drive, Daytona Beach Shores, Florida, 32118. And this is now adopted at 6:13 p.m. Okay. All right, we are now going to go on to Resolution 2023-12, a tentative budget adoption of fiscal years 2023-2024. Please call up the item to adopt fiscal year 2023-2024 tentative budget stating it is now a public hearing. Do we need our finance director to update us on anything? If not, I'm going to open the public hearing on fiscal year 2023-2024 budget. Attorney Waters, please read in entirety the tentative budget resolution number 2023-12R.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is Resolution 2023-12R, a resolution of the City of Daytona Beach Shores of Volusia County, Florida, adopting the tentative budget for fiscal year 2023-2024, providing for an effective date. Whereas the City of Daytona Beach Shores of Volusia County, Florida, on September the 12th, 2023, held a public hearing as requested by Florida Statute 200.065, and whereas the City of Daytona Beach Shores of Volusia County, Florida, set forth the appropriations and revenue estimate for the budget for fiscal year 2023-2024 in the amount of $24,181,000. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the City of Daytona Beach Shores of Volusia County, Florida, that the fiscal year 2023-2024 tentative budget be adopted as attached. The final budget hearing will be held on September the 26th, 2023 at 6 p.m. in the City Commission chambers located at 3000 Belmead Drive, Daytona Beach Shores, Florida, 32118. This resolution will take effect immediately upon its adoption, and it will be duly adopted at a public hearing on this 12th day of September 2023.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Again, I'm going to open this up to public comment, so anyone that would like to speak on this issue, please feel free to come forward and speak. Okay, seeing no one, I'm going to close the public comment. I will now entertain a motion to adopt Resolution 2023-12R, adopting the fiscal year 2023-2024 tentative annual budget of $24 million, that was a nice one, $24,181,000.
I so move.
Thank you.
I'll second it as revised,
As amended.
As
as amended, yes, from the 27th to the 26th.
Okay. And do we have any questions or any further comment on this? Okay, if not, Sherry, please take a roll on this.
Vice Mayor Pledis,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Bryan,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Okay, and it is now adopted at 6:17. Thank you very much, Commission. Okay, we are going to move on. We do not have any presentations or public notice, except that I would publicly like to wish our Vice Mayor a very happy birthday. Happy birthday, Vice Mayor.
Happy birthday, Mike.
I was the only girl in the 6th grade that didn't make the choir, or I would sing to you. So,
That was a blackbird.
yeah. Okay, next, we're going to go on to the approval of minutes. The first minutes would be from August 22nd, 2023. There are a motion to accept those minutes.
I so move.
No, second.
Thank you. Any discussion on those minutes? Okay, if not, Sherry, can you take a roll, please?
Commissioner Lindauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Pledis,
Yes.
Commissioner Bryan,
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes, thank you. Next, we will go on to the minutes of August 29th, 2023. Do I hear a motion to accept those minutes?
I so move.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion on those minutes? Sherry, can you take a vote on that, please?
Vice Mayor Pledis,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindauer,
Yes.
Commissioner Bryan,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes, thank you. Okay, next, we're going to go on to the consent agenda. We have 5 items this evening on that consent agenda. I would like to pull out E as in Edward. So is there any other items that we have to pull out before we vote? Okay, if not, if I can get a motion to accept A through D on this consent agenda?
Also move.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion on any of the items? Okay, if not, Sherry, can you take a vote on that?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Pledis,
Yes.
Commissioner Bryan,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindauer,
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so pulling out E, I'd like to have a little discussion on that, and this was something that we discussed a couple weeks ago. Again, I'd like to give my sincere thanks to Billy Wheeler, who brought up these RAPs probably a couple years ago, is that correct? So we are now acting upon it. As we described to you previously, for the FP&L, and Director, I probably need you to come up. For the FPL, if I understand it correctly, that there are 5 choices that we can have for the FP&L, and that we are recommending right now that staff make the decisions, whichever would blend in. I mean, do we have a consensus on, or do you want to describe?
Sure, thank you, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commission members. Stuart Cruz, Community Services Director for the record. So the program that was approved by the City Commission in July through RAP with artwork, the utility boxes here in Daytona Beach Shores, we are dividing it into 3 different phases. The first phase would be wrap in the larger FP&L boxes. And as the mayor said, if we want to wrap the FP&L boxes, we have to utilize their menu of options. And their menu of options only contains 5 different selections, and staff is proposing that we utilize 3 of those 5 options. The 3 options are basically greenery type options that would kind of blend in with the environment. Phase 2 of the program would be essentially wrap in the FDOT traffic signal boxes. And with those now, we have different options. So we're hoping that if it's approved by the commission, that we would go ahead and do a call for artists and through an RFP type program. And in that case, we would reach out to the high schools and the elementary schools and the middle school, the local schools in this area, so that they can participate in this process as well. The third phase of this program would basically be wrapping all the other boxes that are out there, subject to monies in the budget being dedicated for this particular item. So phase 1 that we're talking about tonight would essentially be all the larger FP&L boxes that are primarily on the west side of South Atlantic Avenue, and they're mostly on the north side, north of Bell Mountain Boulevard, so basically north end of town for the most part. There are about 35 of those along South Atlantic Avenue. They range in sizes, but for the most part, they're about 165 square feet or more. So if this is approved tonight by the City Commission, staff will do an RFP to basically get the appropriate vendor to come in and essentially wrap these boxes. You may recall that $20,000 has been budgeted for this particular phase of the project. So we'll see how many boxes we're able to wrap through that amount of money that has been budgeted. As you know, because of inflation, the prices keep going up. But about 2 months ago, the average cost of wrapping one of those larger boxes was about $2,500 to $3,000. So in addition to that, staff is asking for approval of the FP&L agreement that you see in your packet tonight, and authorizes the city manager or his designee to execute that agreement, and also to authorize staff to utilize 3 of the 5 menu options that FP&L has provided. And the third one would be, let's see, we're asking for. To basically approve phase 1 of this project.
Okay, great.
So if there's any questions for me, I'll be happy to take those.
So Stuart, so I feel like the FP&L is kind of set in stone. We don't have a large variety of what we can choose on, but for the FDOT, we would like to get residents' input. So the city manager came up with an idea that we had discussed, and I want to bring it up to the commission tonight to see. So if we reach out to one of the elementary schools, one of the middle schools, and one of the high schools, make it a very fun event, probably at the community center, that the students can come along with their parents, and then it would be residents only that could vote. So we'd like to have some sort of system that they would vote on what their first, second, third choice is. I think we said we had 5.
Correct.
5 of those. All right. So on those, we could use 4 different. Is that correct? They would allow us to do 4 different sides?
Yes, again, this is all subject to the DOT's approval.
Okay, so yes, I want to make sure we say that. So that would allow 20 different selections. So that hasn't been set in stone yet, but that's something we are kicking around. We could not think of any other way that we could get our residents involved in making the selection. But that's something, yes. So that's something we have to see. So do you need our approval tonight on the FDOT as well as the FP&L?
So staff was going to essentially put all this down phase 2, because what you're talking about is phase 2, was going to put down phase 2 on paper and then bring it back to the commission for formal approval. So that way we'd have more details and more structure as to what we're proposing.
Okay. Do we have any questions for our director?
Yeah, I would like to see other residents who are artists be involved in it in addition to the kids. I think we could allocate 80% to the kids and 20% to the rest, or if it turns out that we don't have anything that we think is appropriate, we could all go to the kids. But I just wouldn't want to exclude any local artists that we have. But I think it should be local.
So you're saying residents of Daytona Beach?
Yes, yes, in the design phase.
Okay. Any other discussion on that? Okay, so right now, are you just looking for a motion to?
To approve
Yes,
the.
I'm sorry.
I move we approve
I'll second.
E.
Yeah,
Okay.
I-
Second.
I
Thank you.
think the staff selections make a lot of sense. They're floral, they blend right in, so I don't think there's any controversy there.
Okay, so we now have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Okay, Sherry, can you take a vote on consent agenda item E, please?
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Bryan?
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos?
Yes.
Commissioner Lindauer?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Platis?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and again, thank you, Billy Wheeler, if you're listening, for your fantastic idea. It's a little late coming, but we got there. Thank you. So next, we're going to go on to old business. So this is ordinance 2023, a comprehensive plan future land use map. And if, no, I'm sorry, if you could read it for us, please?
Yes, Madam Mayor, this is ordinance number 2023-07, an ordinance of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Florida, County, Florida, relating to comprehensive planning, amending the City of Daytona Beach Shores Comprehensive Plan, amending Chapter 1, Future Land Use Element by amending map L-4 entitled Generalized Future Land Use Map, parentheses 2030, assigning the residential low-intensity future land use designation to annex single-family residential property located at 3038 South Peninsula Drive, a short parcel identification number of 5334-02-02-0160, providing for implementing actions, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for non-codification, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Commission. This is second reading of ordinance 2023-07. No information has changed since first reading, so if you have any questions, staff is recommending approval.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for our city planner? Okay, here, if not, can I have a motion to accept ordinance 2023-09?
I move we approve. Is it 07?
It's 07 and
Oh,
2307.
07, I'm sorry, 07.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Let me read it again. A motion to approve 2023-07.
Yeah.
Richard.
Richard, okay. Did we have a second?
I'd second it.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? Sherry, can you take a roll on that?
Commissioner Bryan?
Yes.
Commissioner Lindauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Platis?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, thank you. Next, we will move on to ordinance 2023-08. Attorney Waters, can you read that for us, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is ordinance number 2023-08, an ordinance of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Volusia County, Florida, relating to comprehensive planning, amending the City of Daytona Beach Shores Comprehensive Plan, amending Chapter 1, Future Land Use Element, by amending map L-4 entitled Generalized Future Land Use Map 2030, assigning the residential low-intensity future land use designation to annex single-family residential property located at 3040 South Peninsula Drive, short parcel identification number 5334-02-02-0130, providing for implementing actions, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for non-codification, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you very much. Okay, do I hear, I'm sorry, do you want to go over that again? The same as?
It's second reading, nothing's
Okay.
changed.
All right, thank you. So ordinance 2023-08, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay. Any questions? No comment. Sherry, can you please take a roll?
Commissioner Lindauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Platis?
Yes.
Commissioner Bryan?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, thank you. Okay, we will next move into our quasi judicial hearing. Sherry, can you please swear in?
Yes, ma'am. Anyone wishing to speak tonight, please stand and raise your right hand. Okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth during tonight's hearings?
I do.
Okay, this is ordinance 2023-09, rezoning application. Attorney Waters, can you read that for us, please?
Certainly, Madam Mayor. This is ordinance number 2023-09, an ordinance of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Volusia County, Florida, assigning the RSF-2 Urban Single-Family Residential Detached District zoning classification to annex single-family residential property generally located at 3038 South Peninsula Drive, short tax parcel ID number 5334-02-02-0160, providing for modification of the official zoning map, providing for implementing administrative actions, providing for non-codification, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Okay, do I hear anyone in the audience that wants to speak on this rezoning of 3038 South Peninsula Drive? And may I ask our commission, did anyone have any ex parte communications?
No.
No.
Thank you. All right, do I have a motion to accept 2023-09?
Move we approve.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any discussion? Sherry, a vote, please.
Commissioner Bryan?
Yes.
Commissioner Lindauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Economos?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Gladys?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, thank you. Okay, next we're going to go on to ordinance 2023-10, another rezoning application. Attorney Waters, can you read that for us, please?
Thank you. This is ordinance number 2023-10, an ordinance of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Volusia County, Florida, assigning the RSF-2 Urban Single Family Residential Detached District zoning classification to annex single-family residential property generally located at 3040 South Peninsula Drive, short tax parcel ID number 5334-02-02-0130, providing modification of the official zoning map, providing for implementing administrative actions, providing for non-codification, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Attorney. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on 3040 South Peninsula Drive? This is a second reading. Okay, if not, is there anyone that had any ex parte communication on 3040 South Peninsula Drive?
No.
Okay, again, I stated on the first reading that I did have a telephone conversation with Mr. Steffi. He acknowledged that he was annexing into the shores and was a little concerned about speeding on Peninsula Drive, and I did pass that feedback on to our chief. No one else had anything? Okay, can I have a motion to accept ordinance 2023-10? Okay, so Commissioner Lindauer, first motion, and Vice Mayor second. Any discussion? Sherry, can you take a vote, please?
Commissioner Lindauer?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Gladys?
Yes.
Commissioner Economos?
Yes.
Commissioner Bryan?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, thank you. Okay, now we're going to move on to new business. This is emergency ordinance 2023-11, a declaration of emergency. Attorney Waters, can you read that for us, please?
Yes, Madam Mayor, this is emergency ordinance number 2023-11, an emergency ordinance of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Florida, creating a new section 2-24, declaration of emergency of chapter 2, administration of the Code of City of Daytona Beach Shores, making findings of emergency, providing for legislative findings of intent, granting the city manager certain powers during a time of weather emergency, providing processes and procedures, providing for severability, codification, conflicts, and effective date and expiration dates.
Okay, thank you. Is there someone that's speaking on this? Is that you, city manager or attorney?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, thank you.
So tonight, you'll see you have two different ordinances, in essence, doing the same thing. The first one was an emergency ordinance that in discussions with our city attorney, in light that Hurricane Lee at the time was potentially coming here, we decided to go ahead and do an emergency ordinance because it was supposed to be here Wednesday or Thursday, and fortunately it is not coming here. So the urgency of this one is kind of delayed, but it would just have given me the power upon adoption to declare a local state of emergency. And where this is all coming from is if you remember, in Ian and Nicole, I was able to declare a state of emergency. Well, inadvertently, when we adopted the massive, I think it was 27-page purchasing ordinance, we replaced part of our code, and the one sentence that gave me authority to do a emergency declaration was deleted. So as you were aware, a couple of weeks ago, we had to do a special meeting, had to call everybody in and do a special meeting to declare a state of emergency. So in talking with the attorneys, we came back and said we need to do this ordinance. So we have an emergency ordinance before you that only requires one reading per our city charter, but then we are going ahead and doing first reading of the regular ordinance following this item. But what we did, instead of just having one sentence, we tried to craft a more inclusive, expansive, what authorities the manager has during an emergency event. So we looked at replacing a whole section rather than just putting a sentence back in. So this was our first stab at it. I know, other than seeing it on the agenda, we haven't. Normally I would have workshopped something like this, but because it's hurricane season and we need to get this in, it's on here for discussion tonight. If there's something in there that you want to amend, we can absolutely do that.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to accept 2023-11?
I move we approve.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, and what discussion do we have on this?
Madam Mayor, on paragraph 7, it says suspend or limit the sale of dispensing or transportation of alcoholic beverages, explosive, and combustibles. I have a concern with that. First, I don't know if it's legal to do that because it's identifying a very limited business or businesses. But I don't think it's necessary either. As part of the powers that the city manager would have would be to declare a curfew, which only essential personnel would be allowed in the area. And again, I don't think any of these would qualify as essential personnel. So I don't think it's actually necessary, but I'm concerned it may not be legal and it may subject us to unnecessary litigation.
Okay.
So I would, if there's no other discussion, or, I would eventually make a motion to
Strike.
delete paragraph 7.
Okay. Attorney Waters, do you want to weigh in on that?
It's the commission's preference,
On the legality?
on the legality of
Okay.
whether you'd like to strike this language. I think it would be a city manager. I think I see him nodding his head. I think it's.
I have no objection.
Okay,
I
and
don't think there'd be any objection.
I just wanted to check on the legality. I have no objection to removing that paragraph.
I don't
Any
either.
other discussion? Commissioner Bryan?
No, I'll amend it to remove that paragraph.
Okay, all right, so do I need a new motion with the amended, striking that paragraph?
Yes.
And that's the motion you did? Okay, second?
I second it.
Thank you. Do we have any other discussion on it? Okay, thank you, Commissioner Economist, for bringing that up. So, Sherry, can we have a vote on that, please?
Commissioner Bryan?
Yes.
Commissioner Lindauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Economos?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Plius?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, thank you. Now we're going to go on to ordinance 2023-12, declaration of emergency. Attorney Waters, can you read that for us, please?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Ordinance number 2023-12, an ordinance of the City of Daytona Beach Shores, Florida, creating a new section 2-24, declaration of emergency of Chapter 2, administration of the Code of City of Daytona Beach Shores, providing for legislative findings and intent, granting city manager certain powers during a time of weather emergency, providing processes and procedures, providing for severability, codification, conflicts, and an effective date.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to accept, turn my page, ordinance 2023-12, declaration of emergency?
Also move.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, and Commissioner, was there any language that was the same in the,
I'm sorry, I was just going to
Yes, there.
say the same. It has that exact same number
Okay.
7 in it.
okay, and I'm assuming that you want that taken out as well?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so, does anyone have any objection to taking that out of 2023-12?
No.
No.
Okay, if not, then I need a motion for the amended.
Go ahead.
Also move.
Thank
I'll
you.
second it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, if not, I need a vote on that, please, Sherry?
Commissioner Lindauer,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Flatus,
Yes.
Commissioner Bryan,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes, thank you. Okay, now we are going to move on to a consideration of a lobbying service and RFQ response. So going back a couple of weeks ago, our staff sent out an RFQ for the services of a lobbyist on one of the appropriations that we may be asking for this year. We felt we would need the services of that. So right now, we had 7 lobbyists that sent back their interest on that. And city manager, did everyone, were they able to get rankings from everyone?
Yeah, I'm going to hand those out now. Obviously, for Sunshine, I couldn't hand them out beforehand. So I'll go ahead and hand those out now.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so looking at the top 3 here, I'm looking at right now, and I'd like a discussion on the top 3. So we have Metz, Husband, Doughton. So who would be number 2 city manager? Is it Pittman Law Group? I'm trying to, or are they the
No,
average?
They're actually, I sorted this in, if you look at the average, they're sorted by
Right, okay.
ranking
All
order.
right. So let me review that again. So number 1 would be Metz, Husband, and Doughton. Number 2 would be Pinpoint Results LLC and Gray Robinson. And for the sake of time here, since we all seem to have pretty much of the same idea here, can we limit it to those 3 in our discussion? Do I have a consensus on that?
Fine, sure.
Yeah. Is that a mistake, the 3.25?
On Pittman?
Yeah.
City
It's
manager?
below grade.
No, those should be,
Should be 4.
that should be 4, yes. Gray Robinson should be 4.
4, okay.
Okay.
All right, so this top 3 still saying the same. So I'll start here. One of the things that I was looking at, that I wanted someone that was pretty familiar with Volusia County, you know, that knew the area around here, what some of our needs were. And then also, I was looking when, I asked for different recommendations from some of our legislators. And then again, I was looking at price, although that wasn't my first important feature. But looking at Metz, Husband, and Doughton, I guess that's how you'd say it, they fulfilled all of my 3 requirements. So I was happy to see that they were in the top 1. Do I have any discussion from anyone else on either Pinpoint Results or Gray Robinson? Or anyone else that wants to talk about Metz, Husband, and Doughton? And city manager, can I ask you, you know, one of the things that we were very interested in, when you and I went up to Tallahassee, we seemed to see one lobbyist everywhere we went that was very highly thought of, and that would be Doug Bell. So if we choose Metz, Husband, and Doughton, would that be who our actual lobbyists would be? Okay. All right, just wanted to make that point there too. So what other discussion do we have on any of these other lobbyists? Oh, Vice Mayor,
I,
only voted for 1, so.
you know why? Because I voted 1, I'm done.
Okay, 1 and done.
Let me tell you what little I know. And I made some phone calls and I did a little bit of investigating. You may pay more money for the particular lobbyist that we hopefully will select, which will be Doug Bell with that firm, Metz, Husband, and Doughton, but you'll get your money's worth. The reason why is when you go and ask for millions of dollars in appropriation monies to assist in capital improvements, whether they be sewers or whatever they are, you want someone whose voice is going to carry and come with clout. And Doug Bell, I knew his father, Sam, when he was a partner at Cobb Colin Bell. I know his other brother, Sam. And the family has a good reputation, and they've established themselves with integrity and consistency. So if you want to get it done, you don't want to waste your money or not get the most desired result. You'll pay good money, but you'll get a good result. So that's why I only voted for one person, and I made some contacts up in Tallahassee and spoke around, and he's the best in the business and one that's most respected, and he has ties to Volusia County. I'm not mistaken, I think he was born and raised here. So he went to junior high, high school, the whole bit, his family's from here. So he has a vested interest in trying to bring back state monies to help us improve our city.
And he's actually the low bidder as well.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say
Really?
too. He was the low bidder.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I
he
didn't
was-
know that.
So that's when you talked about the, so again, one of my criteria was, watching the city's money, Volusia County, and who are they recommending in Tallahassee? And I do have to say he had all three things. So, yes, he was the lowest bidder.
And it looks like I'm sorry, Madam Mayor. And it looks like he actually lived in the Shores before he moved to
Yeah,
Tallahassee. So, and that was a big part of my criteria was the ties to Volusia County, but it was nice to see that he actually is vested in Daytona Beach Shores as well. But the recommendations were a very big part of it too, so there were glowing recommendations as well.
Absolutely. And what I like too is that he called out in his RFQ, Tom Leake, Senator Wright, so he by all means knew who our delegation was.
Yeah.
So, and yes,
Yeah,
Commissioner
I
Bryan?
did checking on Doug Bell as well. And everybody had something nice to say about him. In fact, I talked to Chris Villa at that meeting, the delegation meeting. Chris wrote a letter of recommendation for somebody else. And I said, and he's not, was not using it, somebody else. So he said Doug Bell was good.
Great.
Even though he wrote a recommendation for somebody else.
All right, Commissioner Lindauer?
Yeah, I'm perfectly, even though I ranked him second, not first, I'm perfectly comfortable. I think the top three, at least the top three, could all do the job. So we just need to look for the one who can do the best job. And I think with his connections and background, I'm perfectly comfortable with that.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, so right now, Attorney Waters, do we just need a consensus on here, or a motion?
Your Honor, Madam Mayor, could I just move that way? I'll make a motion
Okay.
to authorize the city to enter into a contractual relationship with the law firm of Metzen, Husband, Doughton, to specifically retain, for the benefit of the city of Daytona Beach Shores, lobbyist Doug Bell.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, if not, Sherry, can you take a vote on this, please?
Vice Mayor Flatus,
Yes.
Commissioner Bryan,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Lindauer,
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes, thank you. All right, we're going to move on now to the city attorney comments. Attorney Waters, do you have anything for yourself or on behalf of Attorney Boyce?
The only thing I have, Madam Mayor, is that we are happy to give the ethics, Florida and the Sunshine and public records training to the planning and zoning this morning. So we were happy to do that, and everything went well, and they had great questions, and I think they learned a lot.
Okay, Attorney Waters, is that the same one that elected officials are required to take every year? Or is that a different variation?
Your course is, I believe, around 4 hours.
Yes.
The one for the appointed, for the board members is a condensed 2-hour version.
Okay, great. All right, that was my only question.
It's not required of them.
I believe it is. I believe it is.
For board members?
For board members. And it's highly recommended, not only for board members, but also for staff. And there was staff present, so.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for our attorney? City Manager, what do you have for us?
Just one thing tonight, Madam Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Last year, because of the hurricane, we had canceled our Christmas parade.
And the year before from COVID?
Actually, 21 we had a parade, 2020 we did not. But we had a really good turnout last year at the Christmas tree lighting that we did. I believe we moved it to Sunday night, kind of impromptu, but we had a great turnout. And the person that we normally partner with for the parade, or that we have in the past, is no longer going to be participating in that. So based on the results we had last year, I'd like to see if the commission would like to not hold the Christmas parade, but expand the Christmas lighting and just do one large event there that actually brings our community together. The Christmas parade was a fun event, but it was, people just lined the sidewalks. This brought everybody together for a sense of community. So kind of looking for direction from the commission. The parade was a big event for the city for years. So
I enjoyed the Christmas tree lighting, and again, I think people liked it. The kids enjoyed getting their picture taken with Santa. I would like to expand it a little bit more. I don't even know if I'm thinking about food trucks, but, you know, the money that we would have spent on the parade, I'd like to see this transferred over to a tree lighting. I think Sunday worked out best. I think we started around 3 or 4, but didn't actually do the lighting, and probably did it a little bit early last year. You know, wait till actually, you know, dusk before we do that. But I thought it was a great event, and I'd be all in favor of doing that again. So Commissioner Bryan, what is your feeling on it?
I'm in favor of it.
Okay.
Same
Commissioner
here,
Leo?
yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
I'm in
Commissioner
favor.
All right. Vice Mayor?
Me as well.
Okay, anything else? Any other clarifying questions or anything else that we would like to direct staff to add to that event? Okay, if you have any other suggestions, I'm sure Nancy Maddox is on vacation, but she would be glad to listen.
she has some ideas, I know already, so we'll add those.
Okay, anything else, City Manager?
That's it for me.
Okay, could we go over one more time the beach that the chief and you and I went there and was very happy with some, we took a tour of the beach yesterday.
Yes, so in driving up and down the beach, as I believe some of you walk it or drive it on a pretty regular basis, a lot of very impressive seawalls have been built or are close to being done. Unfortunately, there's still quite a few properties that have not done anything. I did see a lot of stockpiled material at different locations, but work has not begun yet. So we have a lot of properties that are still extremely exposed. And unfortunately, we have some that still have not done, I don't remember the exact number, but call it 12 to 15 that haven't done anything. We have, through code enforcement, started citing some of those of notice of violations. You know, we were trying to be kind and gentle, but as long as they were working on stuff, we weren't going down that road, but it's time. It's, I mean, almost a year at this point. So we're starting the violation process on those. They'll end up before the special magistrate. I do have concerns that we may end up, hopefully not with another Treasure Island type situation, but it is possible. But the ones that are doing seawalls, they look fantastic, and they're quite impressive, actually. And in particular, I'm going to call it the Hawaiian Inn. I believe it's the longest one that we have out there, and it's quite impressive to see the sheer length and size of that one.
Absolutely, thank you. Any questions for our city manager? Okay, if not, we will go on to council comments. Commissioner Bryan, what do you have for us?
There are some properties that haven't done anything, but there are a number of other properties, including the rest of the Volusia coastline, that will not have permanent armoring even by the end of hurricane seasons. And I'll just repeat what I've said in the past. I would encourage any property owner that's not going to have permanent armoring to seriously consider temporary armoring to likely protect them against something significant. Maybe we'll luck out and we won't have anything significant, but if we do, they would be more protected by if they already have the 2 trap bags out in front, a 3rd trap bag on top, and the material, the sand that goes into that is reusable once they have permanent armament. So what they're wasting would be whatever they spend on the labor to install it and whatever they spend on the trap bags.
Can you let the residents know where they would get the trap bags?
Yeah, Anybody that's interested and happens to be listening, they can contact me and I'll let them know.
I just want to clarify though, is there only one place you can get them from, or is there several locations you can get them from?
There's only one primary source.
Okay.
Some people have paid like an all-inclusive fee where it costs the trap bags and the sand and the installation, but there's only one manufacturer of the trap bags.
I just wanted to make sure we weren't making a recommendation as a city. Thank you. Commissioner Lindaro?
Yes, I'd like to add on to what the city manager said about the beach. Because of the extreme heat, I've been getting my steps indoors in air conditioning in a place that shall remain unnamed. But the other day, I finally got back to the beach, which I really miss from my walk. And I was really impressed with how clean the beach is now with the removal of all the debris and the amount of work that seems to be going on, all in the positive direction. So.
Okay, thank you. I want to bring up, as we've talked about almost every meeting, the non-conforming signs. Thank you, Noel. Thank you, Stuart, to your staff. I mean, it looks like we might have around 5 that we've given notice of violations that they're non-conforming, that really haven't done anything yet. They might be in the process of trying to get bids, but for the number that we have made such great progress in this past year. I thank you very much, and it looks great going up and down the street to see that. And then the second thing is that I always talk about is that hurricane grant that's out there. I mean, we did find out that 300,000 is the max that you can get, but still, that's a substantial amount. And I think I gave you these figures before, but if I didn't, I want to tell you again that only 15 million out of the 100 million has been spent. So there's still $85 million, that's available. So I encourage anyone that hasn't applied for that. There's only really 2 things you need: a DEP permit, and then you need a copy of your receipts. So it's a 50-50 match. If you would only spend $500,000, you'd get $250. So make sure that everyone knows about that. So of the 15 million that was spent, 10.8 million was given to Volusia County. So this is a statewide program, and in Fort Myers, Naples, and all of those, now we're going back to Ian and Nicole, all of the devastation they had there, so there's not much money that was spent outside of Volusia County, and I am so proud and happy to say, out of that 15 million, 7.1 is in Daytona Beach Shores. So half of it has been paid out to our residents. We can do even better than that, so please tell your family and friends. Now, I do want to tell you too, I did try to get updated numbers and he didn't get back to me today. So these are numbers from about 2 weeks ago. I wouldn't think that they've shifted that much. They haven't been, anyway. So.
Coffee with the mayor.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Oh, thank you. So Coffee with the Mayor, I didn't do it for a couple of months, so I forgot about it. Tomorrow's Coffee with the Mayor, and I'm pleased to say we are going to have Sheriff Mike Chitwood here. So he's always very entertaining, and he's open to any questions you might have. And we usually get a great turnout. And one of the questions that I get all the time, and I'm hoping that we ask our sheriff, is why did previously we see red trucks going up and down, beach safety and the red trucks all the time, and we can sit on our balcony for an hour and only see one? So my advice to you is ask the sheriff why, because I'm not sure of that answer. Chief, I do see more and more of the Volusia County sheriffs up and down A1A.
Yes, ma'am, you do.
Okay, that's all I'll say on that. And then also, Jim Judge is the head of our Volusia County Emergency Management, and he's going to have slides and a presentation on preparing for a hurricane. So please ask your family, your friends to come to that, because they'll have some good tips for us. So thank you, Commissioner, for reminding me of that. That's 10 o'clock tomorrow up in the second floor of our community center.
And no further comments. Thank you.
No further comment. Okay, Vice Mayor?
I went to the TPO meeting. That's the Transportation Planning Organization meeting. We meet out at the airport like once a month on Wednesday. And it's a really good group of very intelligent people, and it's The mayor of DeLand is the chairman, Chris Cloudman, runs a very good meeting. So between Flomish on Nova Road all the way to where it gets to US 1, past the trails, they have already got funding and passed, and they're going to start construction of this beautiful streetscaping, you know, where they're going to reduce the number of lanes of travel, slow traffic down, but have trees and lighting and landscape. It looks very elegant, like something you would see out of a movie, very, very European. Then they're going to install truck parking on I-4, which they said is a really desperate need. They have, I think, one in Sanford, but they've already earmarked some along the I-4 corridor in our county. And what's really interesting, they're going to make it eco-friendly, and they're going to have resting stations, and they're going to have where people can exercise, the truck drivers, and showers and things like that. And then to take care of the Tiger Bay Reserve, they're going to have fences to keep the animals from getting on the highway and keeping from them getting killed.
Where on I-4, have they identified that yet?
Yeah, I think it's going to be before you get to DeLand, but after you leave the I-95.
Okay, all right.
Somewhere in there. And they're still identifying the different locations, but it was a really nice presentation by DOT. And, you know, there's a whole bunch of other things that are on the books, like the LPGA I-95 interchange will be coming within the next 5 to 10 years, as well as the Destination Daytona US 1 and I-95 interchange will all be completely different, all first class, all very contemporary, very and they design them to assist the large commercial vehicles from exiting and entering onto the highway without causing a lot of injury or crashes. But it was a good meeting. It was well attended. They said that our population here in 2018 was 4,300 people approximately. Based on the most recent census that was taken in 20, it's up to 5,200, and again, approximately. And you know, I sit on this commission, I don't have any voting rights, but it changes amongst the small cities. So every 6 months, they put another alternate in there. But again, it's well attended, it's not hotly contested, it's not controversial, but they do a really good job explaining the projects. And those people at FDOT, they are very articulate and very good at what they do. It was a very, like I said, I went in it with open eyes and an open mind, and I really enjoy going. It's just, you learn something new.
Great, great, and thank you for representing us there. One other thing that I did want to add, for the Florida League of Cities, we have what's called policy committee assignments, and I'm very happy to say that our Commissioner Brian was accepted on which committee is it now?
Land and economic
Okay,
development.
all right, so he'll be representing us in the, statewide on that, and I am on the municipal administration. So just wanted to say that too, so we're going outside of our cities. Okay, so next we have agenda items for next meeting. Do we have anything on there? I know we'll have the final budget on the 26th.
26, and the final millage.
And the final millage on that date. Again, I was very, very happy that we were able to hold this rate down. So the only increase that you'd see on your taxes if your property went up. But again, I'm telling you, probably not going to happen next year, so enjoy it this year.
Mayor, I don't believe anyone signed up, but you skipped over.
Oh, I skipped that. I'm sorry. I did not have, thank you so much, Sherry. I did not have anything for audience comments. But as always, I open it up if anyone would like to make an audience comment. And I see our Kristen Johansson. Thank you.
I apologize for forgetting to sign up.
That's all right. Just if you could say your name and address.
Kristen Johansson, 6611 Maryvale Lane, Port Orange. I'm here representing the Port Orange South Daytona Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. So I want to thank you all for renewing our agreement again with you this year, that our partnership is a good, strong one, so we appreciate that very much. Also, just letting you guys know, Leadership 2023 officially kicked off yesterday, and they have their first program day tomorrow, so thank you very much for sending Gwen from Code Enforcement, so we're glad to have her. Couple things coming up to make note of. One is we do have a mini job fair and apprenticeship expo happening at the Riverside Pavilion on Thursday, this coming Thursday, September 14th from 12 to 4. So we have quite a few, I don't know the exact number, but quite a few businesses participating. So if you do know anybody out there, help spread the word for folks looking for jobs. Our member appreciation party that was delayed because of the storm is coming up at the end of this month. So Thursday, September 28th from 5 to 7. If you are a member, please come on out, which your chamber is, so, or your city is. So come on out, enjoy some free pizza from Giuseppe's, and enjoy some company. And finally, we do have a new event coming up in October that we want to make sure everybody is aware of. We're hosting our first annual casino night on Friday, October 27th. So tickets are on sale, sponsorships are available. It's supposed to be a great night, so we're looking forward to it. And that's pretty much the news from us.
Kristen, can you tell us a little bit more about the new hire for the chamber? And I understand she'll be spending the majority of her time in the shores.
Oh, yes, thank you very much. So Heather, help me. Pastor, sorry, her last, Heather Pastor was recently hired to be our marketing director and membership retention and membership development full-time employee. She is going to be working 100% out of the Daytona Beach Shores office. So we're glad to have some continuity in that office, and we're very, very glad to be back up to full manning at our chamber. And Heather's a great addition, has a lot of experience in the nonprofit realm and in the automotive industry with marketing. So she brings great talent.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
I'd like to ask her a question.
Oh, we don't know.
I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
Do you have any idea how many businesses in the Shores are members of the chamber?
I don't have that number. I can certainly find out and have it sent to Mayor Miller, and she can pass it along to you guys.
Send it to Kurt.
Yeah, it'd be a sunshine if we did, so send it to Kurt, please.
Yeah.
Kurt.
Or you can send it to me and I will send it to Kurt.
I will absolutely send it to Kurt. Yes, I will send it to your city manager.
It's not subject to the sunshine.
Yes, absolutely. I'll send it to your city manager. We'll do a poll from our database. I just don't know that number offhand.
All right, great.
For
Thank
sure.
you so much, Kristen. Okay, and any items now recommended for the next agenda? Okay, if not, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much, and thank you for those that joined online.